Hello and welcome to another episode of FinTech Focus TV. Delighted today to be joined by Tim Meggs from Lowtech. Hi Tim.
Hi Ian.
Tim, could you give us a bit of an introduction? Who are you and what do Lowtech do?
Yeah, of course. I'm Tim Meggs. I'm the CEO at Lowtech. We are building the capital markets firm for the on-chain world, which is a short, pithy way of saying we're a trading business.
Yep.
We build really good trading infrastructure within the digital assets or crypto space, and off the back of that or around that infrastructure, we monetize 3 or 4 different business lines using the same infrastructure, same piece of kit.
Interesting, yeah, thank you. And look, we were talking off camera about distributed ledger technology and where it's come from and the evolution, and I think its suitability, let's say, for financial markets.
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about that, your thoughts.
So it's changed a huge amount. I mean, we started building in the space for a number of reasons. We met as a team in 2021 within another bigger, larger traditional HFT, and they were looking to move into crypto, and they needed some people who'd had experience in the space. It has for a long time had much lower barriers to entry than traditional finance. So to be able to collect data from a major crypto venue, you just needed to hook up a WebSocket or be able to send a REST message against it. Very, very different from trading on LSE or CME or something like that, where not only do you need millions of dollars worth of connectivity, you need to have the right engineers and the right relationships to do it. So crypto has always had this sort of lower barrier to entry. But with that, it's had this sort of bifurcation as well between centralized crypto trading, so the names that you'd recognize such as Binance and Coinbase and Kraken and others, which are very, very similar to traditional stock exchanges, futures venues, and then in 20 and 21, an evolution of genuine on-chain swapping or on-chain trading. That space, which is much more aligned with distributed ledger technology and blockchain, took a while to get going, but is very, very vibrant now. And so you have these 2 parts of the crypto ecosystem, and they operate with some degree of overlap, but have been kind of separate for a long time. From a trading perspective, we want to be active everywhere. And so we've built our trading technology to be able to operate both on centralized venues, but also on these decentralized protocols. What we've seen is the decentralized stuff, the blockchain piece, has been evolving, but initially was very, very slow from a transactions perspective. So you would have Ethereum block times of 12 minutes plus, and so not ideal for trading, particularly in a world where on the electronic side in traditional finance, you're talking about millions of messages per second needing to go through, whether it's cancels, place, matching, and so that side of the ecosystem was never really at that point robust enough or fast enough to sit under a limit order book, for instance. Our view was that those were technological problems that would change and be solved, and we're beginning to get to the point now where that's happening.
And you'd say that's happening now, or is that, over the course of the next 5 years? How do you see that?
So we are a VC-backed business, and we've raised on the premise that in the next 5 to 10 years, all of the traditional finance institutional business will sit on top of some sort of blockchain.
Well, okay.
And we've seen the technological evolutions from a throughput perspective that verify that premise. It's hard to say that you could run a business like the CME on top of a blockchain at the moment, because they're talking about millions and millions of messages per second. But we're seeing transactions per second on blockchain technology get to the sort of millions per second level now, and so it's becoming viable, and we think it's a problem that will be talked about a lot now, but will go away in the near future.
And it's interesting you touch on organisations like that, because I'd love to get your take on a more, I guess, broad view of the market. What are you seeing, evolution-wise right now?
Yeah, we've seen a lot. We've seen a lot of change in the last. I mean, I'm quite old, so I've seen a lot of change in finance since I've been involved since the early noughties. We had sort of pre-crisis and around post-crisis, we had the evolution from a lot of trading being done by banks to trading being dominated by HFTs as a lot of asset classes electronified. So went away from open outcry-based trading and emails and IB and message-based trading to genuine electronic and algorithmic trading. That electronification saw a lot of big trading firms come to dominate top of book. We believe that there's an evolution towards a blockchainification now as well. So the second step of go electronic and then go blockchain. And with that, you get a change of cast of characters as well. And so there's a lot of large level structural change that's happening around how risk is priced, trading occurs, and where distribution happens. And you see players like Robinhood and Coinbase and the HFTs that sit behind a lot of liquidity provision preparing for that now.
And I'm always fascinated, with that blockchain, that blockchain technology. I think everyone, there aren't many people that would argue that it's not great in terms of what it does, but actually the implementation of it, certainly for some of these larger organizations, potentially slightly harder to get that ship sailing. I mean, do you see that this being implemented across the board from the very largest institutions?
I think it will come in different flavors. We've seen a lot of big financial institutions wrap their arms around stablecoins in the last year. And so that is a use case that suits very well a lot of traditional finance business. Getting into the weeds of blockchain and integrating it smart contracts won't be for everyone.
It's true.
And so we will have people or firms that do what they need to do within crypto, but potentially get left behind in terms of some of the innovation, similar to what we saw with the electronification of trading, where you had whole swathes of businesses for lots of different reasons, but kind of removed from the risk-taking elements of trading and being replaced by HFTs in terms of liquidity provision. We'll probably, I think, we'll see that with blockchain as well.
Yeah, interesting. This whole space, genuinely, I feel like I could talk about it all day. I'm interested in hearing from you about low tech specifically. So you're here today talking about your sort of market data offering, which I'd love to hear a bit more about. But there's some evolution coming with your business as well. Tell us about that.
That's right, and thanks for asking. We primarily we build really good HFT technology that allows us to operate kind of anywhere. So we've grown up within crypto because the barriers to entry are low, but we have ambitions out and beyond that as well. And the core stack that we've built allows us to do that. So we try to keep everything very agnostic, very venue independent or protocol independent. And so from a low-tech perspective, we are capable of pricing, managing collateral, managing orders on traditional venues, crypto venues, smart contract venues, direct against counterparties. And so it's been something that we've had to work hard on in terms of how we monetize that. And so we've initially, as we've connected to lots of venues, created a very nice market data pipeline for ourselves. And we found that people have come to us and asked, when we have your market data, either live or historical, and so that's what we're here talking about today. But we also have other businesses within business lines, within low tech, that we're evolving and looking to put out there. And the one that we're putting out over the next few months with the agency execution. So if you want to manage a crypto-based execution across multiple venues with a smart order algorithm, you can come to us and use our platform to do that. That's something that will go live along with our licensing in the next few months.
So a genuine evolution of the business there. It's exciting times. And how do people find you?
So we're low.tech on the internet. I'm Tim at low.tech. We have a presence on LinkedIn. We're doing more and more podcasts and short form pieces. So just look up low.tech and you'll find us.
Brilliant stuff. Tim, thanks ever so much for your time. Thank you for watching.
Thank you.